And we're live. I think.
This. You could be doing this. How? By using a kosher.
Let me skip the ad and find out.
By using a kosher.
Let me skip the ad and find out. Yep. So pay no attention to the thumbnail. I just grab random objects for these thumbnails and hold them up, something with a picture rather than that, So two watching, and I know one of them is me. Ron Limber, what are you doing? Nope. What? T.G.I.F, thank goodness it's Friday. I uploaded 2 backing tracks that Linda and I did. We did one, and I was getting some comments and stuff and views. And I went, well, let's do another one. And what do you want to play? She goes, what do you want to play? I go, let's do Folsom Prison. She started laughing. She's like, oh, boy. Hey, Kevin Ray, happy Friday. And, believe it or not, now, if you don't recognize those 2 backing tracks as Pride and Joy and Folsom Prison, but I didn't put those in the title, and I really didn't sing them in Folsom Prison. I went, I hear that train coming, so she knew where I was at. No copyright claim. The algorithm hasn't found it yet. So it's like, all right, you can do backing tracks if you don't put the real title of the song in there and you don't sing it, don't give them any lyrics, and you're cool. So I'm going to try that with a couple other ones, that are definitely songs that you will recognize, and experiment a little bit and see what the algorithm picks up on and what it doesn't. But it didn't pick up on those 2. And if you can't tell that that's Pride and Joy and the second one, Folsom Prison, then wow. It's obvious. Now, the first one, the Texas Shuffle, is getting way more views than the Train song, but there's a couple hours difference in upload time. So, it's hard to say, but I was getting more views on the Texas Shuffle. No, Ron, no snow around here. What? Okay. Well, we got snow on the ground, but I think it all got rained away today. It started raining. It warmed up to like 40 degrees and started raining, but it's going to get us eventually. And we got a gig tomorrow night, just me and Linda. Then next Saturday, we're playing at the Harbor Halcyon, the whole band. And the Saturday after that, we're doing our premiere gig at Ashtabula VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars. And I haven't played in the VFW for like 2 years because I just stopped calling them. For one thing, it's a hard load in. They don't book that often. They only book like one band every 2 months or something. So I basically, and then they change officers. So whoever is in charge of the entertainment, one time, a year later, they're not in charge of it anymore. They've elected somebody else new to take care of that and do the booking. Well, it just so happens that our other guitar player, Jerry, is friends with whoever it is that is doing the booking now at the VFW, and he got us a gig. Hey, Evil, what do you mean your guitar refuses to play that kind of music? Huh? Impeach Ed. I've already been impeached. I've been peached already, buddy. I'm already peachy. What do you mean your guitar refuses to play that kind of music? I saw that comment. Your guitar can play that kind of music. It's the pentatonic scale in E. You know how to play the pentatonic, right? I'm sure that you do. But and like I said, that's I fully expected to upload those and get a copyright notice where I was either sharing or couldn't be monetized or, blocked in like Bolivia or something. Nothing. And those songs are obviously specific. I mean, that 12 bar blues could be anything, and that goes for either one of them, Pride and Joy or Folsom Prison. But Les Pauls don't play SRV. Yeah, they do. They can if they want to. You have to have an extremely cooperative Les Paul though. Evil. Now they can play Johnny Cash. Of course, why don't you go out and get yourself a Telecaster? Go out and get yourself a cheap telly. You don't have to spend a bunch of money. Get a Squire one or a Harley Benton one or a Dodge Chrysler one. Get some kind of Telecaster. But, you can play that stuff on a Les Paul. I'm sure I've actually seen videos, I think, where back in the day, SRV was playing on Stevie Ray Vaughan was playing on a Flying V or an Explorer or something. Hey, Electric Gypsy Blues, you finally made a live stream. Eddie? No, Ronnie. I haven't been buying any guitars. I pawned one guitar, Ronnie, for Christmas money, and then went and paid it, got back. Ron and I go back a long way. Actually, me and his old lady go back even farther on Facebook, but I think she unfriended me because I gave her a hard time for being a Trump supporter because I haven't seen her post in a long time. I haven't checked because I don't look at Facebook that much. And when I do, I just I shake my head and go, you people, unbelievable. I like it when somebody posts on there, don't get in my business. You get your business all over social media. What do you expect? Yeah, Electric Gypsy Blues, Johnny Cash putting the dollar bill or the playing card in the strings of his guitar. I've actually done. I recorded Folsom Prison one time. Recorded a full version of it. I don't have it anymore. It's lost. It's gone. It was on another computer. But I did that. I stuck a sheet of paper. I wove it in the strings and played that rhythm on the acoustic with it like that, and got that sound. That's true. I mean, they say Johnny Cash actually did that. The tricky things they used to do before they had, impulses and modeling amps and condenser mics and phantom power. It might have been, there may have been no drums. There very well, it could have been no drums or yeah, right. I'm sure Johnny Cash, when he first went out playing, there was probably no drummer. Man, I started watching videos last night of the old Shindig show from the 60s. Oh my God, what a blast from the past. And I was just I was amazed. I was amazed at some of the people, seeing them when they were young. Frankie Valli, Aretha Franklin, just some of the people. There was a band called the Castaways that did a song called Bread and Butter, and then they changed their name to the New Beats. But they recorded the song as the Castaways. And when you see these guys, when you hear the record, and then you see these guys, it doesn't match up. It doesn't at all match up. My first guitar was a Harmony Telly. Last time I saw it was in a pawn shop. Evil, you can go out and get yourself a Telly. You were buying those first act toy guitars there for a while, remember? Yeah, Hee Haw. I've gone and found a lot of Hee Haw episodes on YouTube. Absolutely. I went down that rabbit hole more than once. More than once, Electric Gypsy. Good evening, Squire Telecaster. And laughing. Laughing, I haven't, but I could see myself diving right into that one. Very interesting, but not funny. I was like with Artie Johnson and Ruth Buzzy. The old man, you want to see my ding dong? Goldie, yeah, that's right. Goldie was nothing but a baby. I haven't seen any recent pictures of Goldie. I wonder what she looks like now. Oh, it was hilarious. We lived for it. I was in second or third grade when Laugh-In was on, and every kid watched it. And then that was all we talked about in school the next day was what happened on Laugh-In. And, the little kids, we'd act out the skits. I mean, we drove our teachers crazy. I was getting paddled one time with like 2 or 3 other kids for acting up in class. We got dragged out in the hallway. And before the teacher went to swat me, I went, sock it to me, sock it to me, sock it to me. And she started laughing so hard that she just said, forget it, never mind, just all of you, get in there and sit down. Hey, Adam. Oh, excuse me, I choked on myself. You had lunch with Goldie yesterday. Yeah. What, a bag of goldfish? Crackers? And that was another one that was on Shindig last night. I watched a Shindig episode that Jerry Lewis and Gary Lewis were the hosts. And it was entertaining. It was good. It was good. I'm not the biggest Jerry Lewis fan, but it was all right. It was all right. But oh yeah, I remember the Jerry, all of them shows. I used to love the Tom Jones show. I remember the Glenn Campbell Good Time Hour. But there's a lot of stuff. There are 2 in particular. One is called Shindig, and the other one is called Hullabaloo. And then the English versions were Top of the Pops. And I think there was either one called Upbeat or something like that. But there was another one, Old Gray Whistle Stop. So there's Shindig, Hullabaloo, Top of the Pops, Old Gray Whistle Stop from England. And then, of course, you had American Bandstand, you had Soul Train, you had Lawrence Welk, you had that stuff. But to go back and watch how these guys did it in the Barbara Mandrell show, absolutely. Barbara Mandrell and her sister, the one sister, because apparently Barbara got in a bad car accident, almost killed her, messed her up really bad. And the other Mandrell sister would play at a local campground here every summer. She'd do a couple shows every summer, and we went a couple times, and we almost got the chance to play Barbara Mandrell. It was Barbara Mandrell. Yeah. Barbara Mandrell used to play at a local campground here, and we almost got the chance to like open up and play with her, but they picked a band because we were kind of too much rock. We were doing too much rock and not quite enough country, and they wanted more country, and so they got this local country band to do it. Then it was like, what are you gonna do? It was our own fault. We should have learned a bunch of Barbara Mandrell songs. We'd have been in. That kind of might have sealed the deal if we'd have known one of her songs, or two. Might have helped. But when I was a kid, there was an old abandoned defunct dance hall that back in the 40s and 50s, all the big bands played there. Glenn Miller, Count Basie, Sammy Davis, not Sammy Davis Jr., Sammy Davis, his dad. All the big bands played there, and they've got their pictures. They had their pictures all over the wall, and then when they tore that dance hall down, the guy took those pictures out because the son, Woody, who owns the winery that we play at in the summer, the Firehouse, the kid I grew up with, we used to go in there and look at all these pictures and read what people had written on them, and they had pulled those out. And it was funny that those pictures sat there for all those years and nobody paid attention to that. Of course, there wasn't anybody going in there except his family. But the fact that they didn't capitalize on these things, so they pulled them out and they put them in their other bar that they still have. That's called the Swiss Chalet. And you can go in there next summer. I'll go in there and take pictures of those old pictures of all those old big bands that used to play at Geneva on the Lake in the 40s and the early 50s. And then for whatever reason, that type of music just kind of dried up in that area, and they closed that dance hall. And it was really a beautiful place. It was a shame that it got to be what it was, because there was actually a Steinway piano in there, a Steinway grand piano in there, that like part of the ceiling had caved in and fallen on top of this freaking piano. And it was like, you people don't even know what you have. They didn't even, the ignorance level sometimes of people down there, that, and they had their reasons for whatever, but I'm sure even they look back at it and go, oh crap, we let that get away. And if that dance hall was still there, man, it could be a great thing because it overlooked the beach of Lake Erie, which the beach is no longer there. Of course, I'll tell you what, where that dance hall sat, that property is practically pretty much washed away. So they may have had no choice. It might have been just falling over the bank. They may have had no choice but to tear it down. I can't remember. But when I was a little kid, it was Barbara Mandrell, and there was another Mandrell sister, Louise Mandrell, wasn't it? Somebody Google the Mandrell sisters. because Barbara was the main one. I think it was Louise Mandrell. I didn't lose my internet connection, did I? Somebody type something. Somebody do something. Ah, there we go. Han Solo. Han 36 Solo. Good, we didn't lose our connection. Sometimes my internet just like goes blip. It'll blip and the router will lose it. Then I got to reset the router. I don't have to reset Irene Mandrell. Louise and Barb. Okay. Yeah, it was Louise. Louise was the one that would do the concerts down here at the campground. And she was a lot like Barbara. She played a bunch of instruments and sang real good and everything. What's up, Han? But anyway, my internet will blip just enough for the router to lose it. And I got to reset the router. I don't have to reset the modem, just the router. Because we've got what's called Spectrum that used to be Time Warner. And, oh boy, do we have a dickens of a time with these people. And the thing I didn't realize about a cable telephone, having your phone on cable, when the power goes out, you ain't got no phone. Paul Lou, how you doing, Paul? When the power goes out, you don't have a phone. And in the old days, the old landline, the telephone line, when the power went out, you still had a phone. And I mean, we all got cell phones now, but still, you know, if the power goes out, you can't charge your cell phone. What if you can't get to your car? You know? Rocker Pat, how's it going? Yes, it is Friday. And like I said, pay no attention to the thumbnail. I just had to grab something for a thumbnail. I can't, you know, it's like I had to grab something. I was trying to find something for a thumbnail. See, if I'd have seen it, I'd have turned this on and done this. I could have done that for a thumbnail, but oh well. I used an old Stanley tape measure. Dan, how you doing, Dan? Hey, Dan, our names are real close. Dan and Dana. You just drop the A off and I'm Ed Dan. Or add an A to year and you're old man Dana. Oh, we're reaching for it now, aren't we? I've got OBS or OSB, anything. Prince Vince, what's up? Loaded on this old laptop. But if I log out of the account that's on there and log into my regular account, I don't want to do that on that because I just don't. And I've got it installed on my new laptop, but I haven't tried streaming from that yet because I don't have a place in this room for it. I keep that in the living room. And I use it on my lap because it's a laptop. And I have made a few videos, like I did my Happy New Year video with that, and a couple other videos. The video about the glary guitars that, you know, I didn't even appear. My face never appeared in any of these videos, and people make assumptions. A volume meter for their gigs. They're starting to find people. Ooh, wow. Hey, Electric Gypsy Blues in the UK, they have a thing in the bars and pubs and the nightclubs that is a decibel meter. And if it reaches a certain decibel where they set it, it kills the power. It just shuts the power. The band goes dead. The lights go dead. And that night that we played at last Saturday, I did that video where the lights are blaring in your face on the band, and it was just a really bad video. The power went out twice, and we thought we had knocked the power out, but it wasn't us. It was actually the power company glitch thing. It was the power company, and the power just flickered. But our mixer is on Wi-Fi, so we carry a router, and the router's got to reboot before the mixer can find it to turn the shit back on. So that's kind of funny. That's kind of ha-ha. But I didn't know if I would like that much, but comes to find out I really do like it. I like having the control. Of course, I don't have the control. The drummer's got the control. He does the mixing, but he knows what he's doing, so it's fine. We kind of mix things the same way. We know what we need. We've been playing for each other so long that we know what we need to do to make it sound good. Denver Metro has afflicted me with fret spot. Dan, aka Old Man Dan, Dante. I don't know. I didn't check too hard, but am I to assume that you sent that black one pickup Les Paul back? Did you keep that? Because you didn't make another video with it, and you haven't said any more about it. And I really like that guitar. Please enlighten me what you did with that guitar. Inquiring minds want to know. I'm gonna comment with an account that I don't even know where it came from. I have no idea where that account came from. It's on my old laptop, and is that the one? Is that the one that had the fret sprout? How bad was it? See, I typed hello. I really like that guitar. And, maybe you just needed to let it acclimate for a couple days to your house, or give it some humidity or something. Dan, do you live in Denver? Is that where you live? Metropolitan Denver? I'm going to do something really obnoxious. No, it looked like the fretboard had been repaired at the factory. It's not within reaching distance or not handy. It's not even in this room, but I've got a Stratocaster that are all American parts, but it's a parts caster, and it was an all parts body with a 70s neck that somebody took all the finish off of. And I believe it's even a bullet truss rod. And in the wintertime, it dries out really bad and the frets sprout. And then in the summertime, it's okay. And I'm kind of afraid to do anything to it. Fret sprout is when the end of the frets, Pat, extend past the fretboard, so that when you slide your hand up and down the neck, you feel the edge of the frets, and they can be sharp. And if it's because there's no finish on the neck, or because you have an unfinished fretboard that is changing with humidity, if you file them, then when humidity is right and things swell back up, then it can be like almost too much, but not really. But it's just something you have to think about. But 90% of my guitars are so heavily lacquered on the necks that never really becomes an issue, because they're so heavily lacquered. Old English. Why don't you use old Polish polish? Huh? Or some jerkin lotion. The wood can shrink, right? The wood can shrink a little bit, and it doesn't take much. But if you've got a guitar with like no finish on the neck, it'll be more susceptible than something that is heavily lacquered. And most stuff you buy new now, they're really heavily lacquered, other than if it's like a rosewood or an ebony fretboard. They don't put any finish on that. And some people will seal those with a little linseed oil. Now, some people will tell you, no, don't use linseed oil. Don't use linseed oil. But believe me, if you use a tiny amount, a little drop or half a drop between each fret or each couple frets, it'll seal it up, but in time it does wear off or dissipate, So it's not like you're refinishing a tabletop with linseed oil. You're not going to put it on that heavy. You're thinking a very, 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 very light amount. That Charvel, is that a lacquered neck? I can't imagine that is not a heavily lacquered neck, but maybe not. What do I know? I don't know anything about Charvels really. Nope, not lacquered. That's the problem. Try a little linseed oil on it if it's like a rosewood or some other thing other than maple. My Strat, my Ken Strat, this Strat doesn't even have a fretboard. That's just all wear on the edge of the neck. And it's a one-piece neck. There is no fretboard, and it's got the skunk stripe in the back. And this is made in Mexico, 1994, but this is the year that the factory burnt down, and they were getting all their parts from the USA. And this is the skinniest Strat neck that I have ever seen in my life, and I have it. And this is the guitar that I would typically play, but we tuned down now a half step, and I put 10s on that Harley Benton and tuned it down a half step. And I'll tell you what, that guitar is working out just fine. It doesn't make any noise. It plays well. It's got a thicker, chunkier neck than that one. It's got more of a hard C shape where I don't even know what to call this. That neck is so thin that I can't even like categorize it. And 94 was a great year for Mexican Strats, and I've got a 1994 Strat Plus made in America with the lace sensors and all the Wilkinson stuff. And Nah, it's not Wilkinson. It's Schaller. All the Schaller stuff on it. And it's an amazing guitar. But you know what? I am not a big fan of the lace sensor pickups because they compress. And if you want any kind of bite or dirt, like right out of the gate without doing anything, it doesn't have it. It's real chimey and clean, and it's really compressed. And I'm just not a big fan of those lace sensor pickups. And I thought about changing them, but I'm not a big pickup changer. I don't change things like that. I get something, I like it, I get it, because I got it because I liked it. And when I first got that guitar, I loved it because of the way it played. But when I started playing it live, I had trouble getting gain when I wanted it and getting the sound I wanted to get. And there was too much of a difference between clean and a little bit of bite and overdrive, where it was such a big jump that it made it hard, unworkable. And that change has to be subtle for me with whatever pedals I'm using, whatever amp I'm using, whatever guitar I'm playing. It has to be a subtle change between clean, a crunchy rhythm tone, and then breaking into something with a little more breakup and a little more gain. It's got to be more subtle than just I hit a pedal and all of a sudden, bang, everything goes nuts. I can't have that. That just makes a bad situation, a bad performance. So Dave Simpson said he didn't like the fat neck on the Harley Benton Strat until he sanded it himself. Now he loves it. See, I haven't done that. I'm not gonna. At this point, the music we're playing and the style of guitar that I'm playing, the neck's plenty fast. You know what? The neck is faster than I am. So I'm not going to worry about it. Now that Strat right there, I have taken a couple times 1,000, 1,200 grit sandpaper and buffed the back off, or a Scotch-Brite pad and buffed the back off to speed it up because it is lacquered. But that lacquer is slowly starting to disappear. It's starting to go away. It's just wear off. I played it so much. And the Harley Benton has a pretty heavy, lacquering on the back, but it's not a problem for me. I don't stick to it or anything. And I'm not playing anything that fast that I got to worry about it. Like I said, that neck's faster than I am at this point. So that's not a problem. Yeah, the green Scotch-Brite. Actually, what's even better is the gray. The gray Scotch-Brite is even better because it's even a finer thing. And I used to work in a factory where we used tons of Scotch-Brite, and I would get the gray from there. I don't even have any now. I got a friend that works there, though, that could probably get me some. Is that new? No, the gray stuff, like I said, was an industrial thing. I used to get it at this factory that I worked at. Yeah, I'm sure you can find it online. Christ, what can't you find online? You can find everything online. But I don't change, I'm not a big pickup changer. I do have some plans to do some of that stuff. Prince Mitts, Steel Wool is also, all right, here's the only thing I'm going to say about Steel Wool. It makes a freaking mess. And I don't care how much you tape off your pickups, you're going to get steel wool sticking to the magnets. So if you're going to do that, you need to take the neck off the guitar and isolate it away from the body of the guitar if you're going to use steel wool. And you also want to do that somewhere where you can either outside or wherever where you can clean up, because that steel wool breaks down and it gets everywhere. It'll get in your switches. It'll get in your pickups. It'll get in your carpet. It'll get in your eyes. It'll get in your lungs. You need, it gets everywhere. Absolutely. It gets everywhere. So if you're going to use the steel wool, you got to take the neck right off of the guitar and work on it that way. And then I'd say, okay, but I learned my lesson with steel wool. I thought I was being slick, and I steel wooled the frets on my guitar and didn't tape the pickups off. And when I got done, those freaking pickups had hair. I had to take the pick guard out, take the pickups out of the pick guard, and wipe and wipe and wipe and wipe and wipe. And even after you put it back together, you still find it. So, it's not conducive to pickups. It does not go good with pickups or magnets. Well, actually, it goes real good to magnets. It goes wonderful to magnets. Okay, red is coarse. Yes, that's right. The gray is medium. Okay, and the green is fine. Okay. Well, I had some of the gray, and that worked fine. But if you go to the dollar store, all you ever find is the green. That's all they got. Or they got something stupid for your wife to clean pots and pans with. I don't even know what the fuck that is. It's not even Scotch-Brite. I use, like Pat says, I'll use Auto Body 1200 grit or 1500 grit or whatever paper. You can get away with 600 or 1,000. I actually thought the gray was finer than the green, but I get that. By the way, Rocker Pat is restoring a 1956 Studebaker. I'm going to be interested to see what that car looks like as it moves along. You've got a nice shop, man. You've got a dynamite shop. Absolutely dynamite shop. That's called Bud Light, and it was the last one. I left the house today, actually, but I didn't. I had a Bud Light in the refrigerator, so I figured that'd be fine. Moosehead Light. Eastern Canada. Okay. '86 Roadstar. Wow. 86, 96, 2006, 2016. 34 years old. Can you believe that? I've got a 1979 PVT60 that is 41 years old. 41 years old. And that makes sense because I got it when I was like 19. And I'm 60. So, my God. My God. 54 Bel Air. Yeah. That's a big undertaking, take on something like that. That really is, Yeah, guys that restore a guitar. Yeah, I restored a 54 Bel Air. Try that one, buddy. God. I had trouble restoring the baseboard in my hallway. And I'm a carpenter. '47 pickup. Wow, that sounds cool. Just sold the Bullet Mustang for like, oh, right, yeah, Steve McQueen's Bullet Mustang. Yeah. And that was just like, that was just an off the showroom floor type Mustang, wasn't it? Was there anything special about that car? Whatever year it was, it had to be the 60s or early 70s. Yeah, it's a cool car, though. DB, yeah, crazy. Oh, yeah, that Bullet, the picture I saw, it looked pretty rough. I imagine they beat it up pretty good in the movie, but where's that car been? I didn't read it. I saw it, and I read a little bit, saw the picture, and knew it was Steve McQueen's Mustang from the movie, and that it sold for that. I saw the headline and everything, and but I didn't read the article. Don't even get me started on restoring old houses, Pat. I lost my ass on restoring old houses. It was in a barn for 40 years. Jesus fucking Christ. Can you believe that shit? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I got to get this thing set up so that, I can get a link out to people so they can come in here and chat with me, because this is boring as hell for you guys, for me to just sit here and talk. But I appreciate. Nope. No, it wasn't. What do you say nope to, Pat? Sold to the Pawn Stars guy. Oh, no. Yeah. Fuck that guy. There's a meme only because Steve McQueen sat in it. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. There's a meme on Facebook. 18-year-old. Sir, can I please have a cigarette or a beer? And then they show Big Hoss and his dad, Rick or whatever, from Pawn Stars, standing there go, man, best I can do is war. Yeah, you're 18 years old. You can fight for your country and die, but you can't have a beer or a fucking cigarette. Fucking assholes. I know they're trying to protect us, but don't protect us too much. Guitar Mans. Know any other YouTube guys? I know lots of YouTube guys. Who are you? Oh, no, I get that, Pat. I mean, yeah, I get that. I restored a built in 1900 house. It's the house I lived in when Linda and I got married. And I ended up selling it. And a couple of weeks ago, it burned to the ground. And we drove up there, and the whole neighborhood, I cried, man. The whole neighborhood, just terrible, 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 terrible. And it was just depressing to see that house all burned up. And I thought it might be a meth lab. And it turned out to be a kid with problems, special needs, whatever, set his bedroom on fire, set his room on fire, and the house went up like a tinderbox, man. Sad. But anyway, it is what it is. At least it ain't mine anymore. Miss Stephanie, how are you, you lovely singing girl, you? Hey, Trogley, get out of here. I put a lot of work into that house. You know, I'm glad I got rid of it when I did, though, because it had a slate roof on it that was original, and I had to go up there and repair a slate a couple times, and it was 3-story house and very difficult to navigate up there. And I knew I was going to have to replace the roof. And then Linda was living there. Me and Linda were living there with my kids, and I asked. She had her own house that was her ex-husband had destroyed, and well, he didn't destroy it. He tore it apart and then put it back together. So her son was living there, and he was older, like he was 19 or something, and I asked her to marry me, and so I had to make a decision. Which house am I going to repair? This old 3-story, built in 1900, big ass fucking place, or her little 1-story bungalow with 2 addition bedroom in the back. And I decided to go with that one, and we went over there, and yeah, I did a lot of work. You know, I did quite a bit of work on that house. I replaced some floors, I rewired it, I did a bunch of shit, put in electric heat in the back of the house where there was no heat, and did a bunch of other shit. And, you know, profited over $10,000 profit when we sold it. But then I this isn't that interesting. But then I bought another house that was built in the 40s, and totally restored that house, and lost my freaking ass because nobody wanted to buy anything in that neighborhood. Filefish, I haven't seen you in forever. I'm good stuff. I was watching one of your live streams. I remember I was asking you about the spiders and stuff. We were talking about spiders and snakes. I hope they're getting the fires under control. I really do hope they're getting the fires under control. Is there any relief yet? Yeah, for 21,000, right? That's that old one I bought, built in 1900. I got for 20,000, Pat. And believe it or not, I sold it for 20,000. So after everything I put into it, it was a wash. But you know, I made it better at the time for me and my kids. R King, how you doing? Hey, I've never seen you in a live stream. Just grinding it down. But yeah, houses. I wasted my life remodeling. See, Gypsy, we haven't got the big snow yet. Not one. We got like not even a moderate snow. We got a mild one. Now we had one that looked like it was going to get bad, and it snowed like balls all afternoon one day. Got about 2 or 3 inches of snow on the ground, and by midnight it was done, and the sky was clear. Next day it warmed up. Next couple of days it warmed up, and it melted all off and started to rain. And the same thing happened this last time. We got within a 1 day, 1 night period, we got snow cover, and then it just sat there. And then over the last few days, it has just warmed up and started raining, rained it all off, and now everything's fucking mud. I got brand new carpet in my living room and hallway. I had to install a steel gate between the kitchen and the carpet so when the dogs come in, I can keep them on the pergo floor until their feet are dry, until they come in on the carpet. But I was amazed because they like got conditioned, you know, and they come in and they kind of stay in the kitchen. They don't even try to go out until you tell them, okay, go ahead, you can go. So they get conditioned. No, we have not had a deep freeze. You're right, our king. We have not had a deep freeze yet. And I actually found a tick on my dog the other night. So I'm like, what kind of freaking morphodite fucking tick is in the middle of January? But you look at the weather. You know, they're walking on grass and leaves. Of course there's ticks. Then you got to check them all over. You got to start feeling everywhere. And, you know, it's like, Jesus Christ. It's just circling the city and won't move. He's in fucking purgatory. You're stuck in purgatory, buddy. 2 feet of snow, Han. Where are you at? He's probably in like Norway or North Ontario, Edmonton, Alberta, Alaska. Houston's expensive. I know. I know, man. Move to Northeast Ohio, Pat. Your money will go a long freaking way. Of course, I know people that moved to Tennessee. I know some people that moved to Tennessee because they say it's so cheap. Miss Stephanie, yeah, it doesn't snow in Australia. Yeah, Stephanie. It's something. It's something to behold. There's a video on my channel called "The Blizzard of 1998." 1978, the Great Blizzard of 1978. Go watch that video and you'll find out what fucking snow is. It's Olympic Peninsula, Washington. My son lives in he used to live in Bremerton, Seattle area, and now he's in Christ, I don't even know where my kid lives. He's in Washington State. Oh, well, down in Florida, it hit 30 degrees and the iguanas are freezing and falling out of the trees. They're like icing up, and the weatherman goes, "They're not dead, they're just cold." And so, hey, John Landino, how you doing? So I see this video on Facebook, iguana, chicken of the South, and it's like people frying up iguanas because they're falling out of the freaking trees. It was like, no, you wanna some barbecued iguana? Oh boy, that's funny. But yeah, you don't want to have that happen. And they're not dead; they're just cold. They can't move. They're reptiles. God damn it! Tastes like chicken. Yeah. Ah. I asked my wife the other night. I said, "Hey, baby, you want to play dinosaur?" And she looks at me like, "What?" And I go, "I could be a lick-a-lot-of-puss." She is like, you're bad. You're so stupid." Oh, God. That happens here every now and then, Pat, that it like we'll get a warm spell and the buds will come out on the trees and it'll be early and then they'll get covered with ice and it fucks the trees all up. They don't know how to act. They have all kinds of problem blooming in the summertime when they're supposed to. But yeah, that's funny. No iguanas here. We don't have any kind of lizards in Ohio. Hey, no fear, Dan. Go get your shoulder brace. I showed that shoulder brace to my wife because she's been having a shoulder problem. It's been an hour. That's my limit, folks. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. It's been great. 20 people, man. That's amazing. Everybody, check out the backing tracks. Like I said, if you don't put a title or sing, the algorithm doesn't flag it for a copyright strike, or the copywriters don't know what to do with it, so they leave it alone, and it's obvious what they are. But so I'm going to do some more backing tracks, and if you enjoy those, record it and post it and let me know so I can grab it. And if enough people do a video response to the backing tracks, I'll grab them all and put them together into a thing and do a premiere and show it all. Hey, Evil, later, Electric Gypsy, Rocky Pat, Rocker Pat, Dante, Miss Stephanie, everybody. Thanks you guys so much. Remember, most accidents happen in the back seat. The life you saved may be mine.